paired samples t-test. So analyze, compare means, paired samples t-test. If you're not recording or not writing this down, I imagine you'll get confused later on. And I'm going to say, use the book. Okay. So, we good? Paired sample. Click here. Now it gives me variable 1 and variable 2. So variable 1 is what? The pre? So I can either drag it over or just click the arrow and it puts it in there. Then I can get my post, click it, and we've got it there. So then you go to options, click options. No, don't worry about options. And I just click OK. Now, in my output, this is exactly all the information I need. So right here, my pre-test mean, 34.8, N, standard deviation. These are the 3 numbers I needed for my step 3. Post-test, here they are, okay? Then, here is my output, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my output right up. So my mean for group 1, I'm not going to copy this thing. I'm going to actually want to type it in. So what is it? 34.80. Yeah. Standard deviation for group 1 is what? 15.43. Okay. Sample size. What's my N? 20. Yeah. You guys tracking with me? Post. It's right here. 54.20. Standard deviation.
15.55.
19.55. And then the standard deviation is, or I'm sorry, the N.
20.
And now, number 5, it says paste input here. So I'm going to delete this paste input, and the output is this big box right here. And the good news is you can just simply right-click, copy, okay? And then you can paste it. Now, when you paste, this is important. When you paste this into Word, it kind of cuts it off, right? So you don't see the whole thing. So you're going to click on the box right here, the plus. Right-click, auto fit to window. Then it brings it all into what we need it to be. We're tracking?
Yes.
All right. So in this is all the good information. We need what I want you to focus on is the T, your T-score, and the significance value. Okay? These 2 numbers are what we want to focus on. Your T is your T statistic, so I got to report that. So down here it says, give me my T stat, my R, F ratio. It means one of these. You're not going to have all of these for all of them, but for this one it's a T. So what is it? Yeah. So then in my p-value is also known as my significance value. This is my significance value. Okay? I'm just writing a note so you guys can remember this. This is my significant value. Okay? If significance is less than 0.05, that means what? I don't know, you haven't told us. I can reject my null hypothesis. Meaning there is a significant difference between the groups. Okay? So what is my p-value here? 0.001. This is just a little note so you remind yourself. Okay? The p-value is this right here, 0.001. Is this less than 0.05?
Yes.
Okay. So since this is less than 0.05, I get to reject my null hypothesis. Okay? So for step 7, it says I rejected my null hypothesis, showing short support for my research hypothesis that there is a significant difference between the pre and post test scores. And then we're done. For phase 2 of the experiment, the researcher is interested in how an online course compares to the in-person course. The following semester, the researcher gives the same pre and post test to a new online students and another group of in-person students. Is there a difference between the two groups? So we have an online group. This is their post scores for the online group. Then I go down to the next one, and this is the in-person. Just pretend like this word is not online. It should say in-person. So we have two groups of students. So, and what are we trying to see? Is there a difference between what? Yeah. So my independent variable is, so again, I have copied and pasted for phase 2. So my independent variable is class, right? So online or in-person class. Because that's what I'm manipulating. I'm manipulating if they get online or in-person. And then my dependent variable, again, is what? My post-test score. Yep, post-test score. All right, my research hypothesis is what? My null will be there's no difference.
Do you have that phase 2 or no?
So online test scores will not be different than in-person test scores. For our research hypothesis, online test scores, what would we say? Let's delete. Will be different than in-person test scores. Now, what we're going to do is we have two variables. We have the in-person or online class and the test scores. So what type of statistic are we going to do? Independent. Independent. And then you need to tell me why. Now, I'm going to go into my SPSS. So you have to start with variable. I'm just going to go to my next one. So with independent samples t-test, I have two variables. If they're the class, if it's online or in person, and then the test scores. So I can say online underscore in person. I gotta tell if it's online or in person, or I can say class format, or whatever you want it to be. Online or in person. And then the next one is test scores. Okay. Now, this one right here, we can't go up here and say, this one's online, this one's online. We have to designate numbers for them. So if you remember, we need to go to values, okay? And then I need to just assign them 1s and 2s. So my 1 is, what would be my 1? My first one, yeah, my online. And then I click add. And then I do 2, which is my in-person class. Click add.
That's on values?
Yep, so if you have to give them a group, you need to give them the name of the title, and then you're going to go to values and double click on the 3 points, and then you give them 1s and 2s. Now I can go to my data view and I have my next 2 variables, online and in person. So for my first one, all of these, first how many online in person, I'm sorry, how many online do I have? 20. So I can go, and what did I say my onlines were? 1s or 2s?
1.
So I'm going to put 1s for the first 20. So I need to I'm telling the computer that my first sets of test scores are all online. And then the next 20 are what? What would I put? Twos. So I got 40 total. Now I go all the way up to the top, make sure I'm at the top with number 1, and I'm going to click on my first batch. I'm going to highlight them. And again, it kind of goes on to 2 pages, so you got to make sure you don't miss this number 20 down below. Copy, and then I'm going to paste. Then it fills up to 20, which is exactly what I wanted it to be. Then I move on to the next one, online, or in person. So I copy, and then bring it down, right click, and paste. Okay, everyone do that real quick, and then we'll move on. Independent samples t-test, great question, great clarification. So I have my 2 variables for my independent samples t-test. All right, I have my 1s and 2s, my scores down below. Now I'm going to do an independent samples t-test. I got to analyze, compare means, independent samples t-test. Now I have 2 boxes. The test variable is my dependent variable, so I bring that over as my test scores. We're comparing. And then my grouping is my independent. It's the ones that you always have to say what you put 1s and 2s in. So it's my online in person, so I bring that down below. Now it has 2 question marks, so I gotta fix that. So I'm gonna go to define groups. In group 1, we said is a 1, so we just put 1. In group 2 is a 2. So now if I say okay, it says 1 and 2. Okay. I go to options. Yeah, you don't need options, just kidding. Just say okay. Now I look at my statistics. So it says my test scores for my online, my n is 20, we needed that, right? My mean is 40.7. My standard deviation is 15.47. In-person group. So then I report these. Remember? Do you remember where we're reporting this? In my write-up, right here. I'm just literally copying and pasting. Not the box. I'm typing them in here. All right? Then the next thing you're doing is independent. This is my output. I'm going to copy that in. But what I'm going to be looking for, I want you to ignore this part. I'm looking for, in particular, copy, paste. Again, it's too big, so what do I do?
Cross.
Click.
Right click.
Right click.
And then
Auto fit to window.
To window. Good. Let's highlight my
T-score.
I want, my T. This is important.
The significant.
So I'm gonna highlight that. And my significance. So then on my next one, I can give my T is negative 1.755. And then my P value is what? 0.087. So what do I conclude with this?
that you retain.
I retain my null hypothesis. There's not a significant difference between the 2 groups because this is greater than 0.05. All right, go ahead and do your analysis and paste in your output, and then we'll move on. At 12:30, we're going to move on to phase 3 today. The temperature of the classroom in which the students take the post-test makes any difference in their test scores. Thus, the researcher sets up 3 different conditions where 30 participants complete a post-test in varying temperatures. Room 1 is 50 degrees, like it isn't here. Room 2, 70 degrees. Room 3, 90 degrees. Is there a difference in regards to temperature of the room? So what are we studying here?
Temperature.
Temperature. So what is that? No. My dependent variable is what I'm testing. What am I measuring here? The scores. I'm still testing the test scores. So my dependent variable is still test scores. But what am I manipulating? My independent variable, what I'm manipulating?
The temperature.
The temperature of the room. Okay. So my giveaway for this example, if I have 3 groups, what's the only one that has 3 groups?
ANOVA.
ANOVA, yeah. So let's go ahead and let's do our ANOVA. So I'm going to get into my SPSS. Again, I'm going to start my variable. And I have two options, my independent and dependent. So my first one will be my percent. Room, tomb, temp. You like that?
Yes.
Oh, I feel that seems right. All right, now the next one is, what would you say?
Test scores.
Test scores. I'm going to say 3 just so I don't confuse myself because this is the third test scores that we've done. Now, is there one of these I have to do the variables?
The room temp.
The values. Yeah, the room temperature. So I'm going to click on that, and now I'm going to have room 1, 2, and 3. So my ones are going to be room 1, temp 50 degrees. Number 2 is what?
70 degrees.
Room 2, temp 70 degrees. And then number 3 is room 3, temp 90 degrees. Okay, I'm just labeling just like I did the last one. I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to go to my data view, and I have my room temp and my test scores. So my first one is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what is the first ones here? 1, 2, or 3?
1.
1. So I have 10 ones. Okay. Then I'm now to the next one. This is 2s. So how many 2s do I have? 10. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I need to go for my third one is 3s.
Where's the other 10? There's 30.
There's 30.
Oh.
So now I just need to make sure that I'm pairing these correctly. So I'm going to highlight my first test scores, copy them, and paste them next to my ones. Right? Okay. This all, and then the next one, 62. Copy and paste. And then third one, copy and paste. Okay? So if I take a look, I have room 1, and then I have their test scores. I have room 2 and their test scores. And then room 3 and their test scores. Okay? So when you do an ANOVA, you just still 2 variables, but you just need to make sure they're 1s, 2s, and 3s, and then your test scores. Alright? Now, I'm going to go to Analyze. Compare means, one-way ANOVA. Analyze, compare means, one-way ANOVA. Now I have dependent list and factor. My dependent list is my dependent variable, which is what? My test scores. My factor is my independent variable, my 3 rooms. So I'm going to just click that over. Now I'm going to click Options, because I want to get my descriptives. So I click Options, click Descriptives, and then just push Continue. Okay? So I have one-way ANOVA, dependent, my factor, and then I'm just going to click OK. And it gives me my output. Taking a look. Room 1, their average score was a 39. Room 2, their mean was 62. Room 3, 56. The standard deviation. So for number 3, remember how I had, let's go back. Remember how this had 2 groups?
Oh, yeah.
I have 3 groups now. So make sure I just copy and paste and make sure I do group 3. And all of my data is right here. Mean, standard deviation, and my n. Then down here is my output. My f is what I'm going to report. F is 5.29. And then my significance is 0.012. What does that mean?
It's correct. It's less.
Less
You
than
reject.
0.05, so I get to reject my null hypothesis. All right, go ahead and work on that one. So phase 4, the researchers are interested if there is a relationship, keyword relationship. What does that give away?
Correlation.
Correlation between the student's GPA and the test scores. Below are the 20 students' GPA and their scores. Is there a significant relationship between these two variables? So I got 20 students, I got their GPA, and then I have the competency scores. With correlations, it's hard to do an independent, dependent variable, so I just want your two variables. So variable 1 is what?
GPA.
GPA. Variable 2 is
Competency score.
competency. This one is very easy and straightforward. All I'm going to do is type in my two variables. GPA, under variable view, type in GPA, and then competency score. Okay?
Okay.
You don't got to do any values. You just simply label them. And then you're going to head over to data view and simply copy and paste your data from over here. So I can literally copy and paste these two, copy and paste them in. And here are my two of my variables. You're going to go to Analyze, Correlate, Bivariate. Analyze, correlate, bivariate. Okay?
Okay.
And then you're going to get your two variables, which are GPA and my competency score. Drag them over to my two variables. Click Options, and I want my means and standard deviation. Click Continue, make sure my Pearson's checked, it is, and then click OK. And here are my output. First off, here's my information we needed. My two variables, variable 1 GPA, the mean, standard deviation, and N, competency scores. And then for this one, the way you read it is a little tricky. It's not really, this is your output you're going to paste in. I'm going to look for, you need to report your R, Pearson correlation. That's your R. Okay? So after you paste it, it says T-score, F, or R. This is your R. So for us, it's 0.678. So my R is 0.678, and then I'm going to look down to find my significance value is 0.001. So what do?
You reject.
Reject the null. There is a difference, or there is a significant relationship between GPA and the test scores. Used chi-square, right? And chi-square is a giveaway that we're doing chi-square is because of this contingency table. Okay? So, phase 5. The research is there is a difference between males and females and if they access tutoring services. There's two variables, no independent, dependent. Your two variables are what? Gender and access to tutoring. Did they use tutoring or not? So, the way you read this is there are 6 males who use tutoring. And then there are 14 males who did not use tutoring. There are 12 females who used tutoring and 8 who did not. Okay? So the first thing you're going to go is to your variable view, and I have my two variables we have identified. First one was gender. The second one was tutoring. Okay? So gender, I need to label them, right? I have two options of gender, male, female, 1s and 2s. And then the second one is tutoring, and you just label it based on
Did
Look,
or
this
not.
is use tutoring, did not use tutoring. I click my values. 1, use tutoring. 2, did not use tutoring. All right, so we have our 2 variables. Now we head over to our data view. And I have my last 2 to look at. Now the way you're going to go ahead and do this one is you have to think about each row counts for 1 person in one of these boxes. So I have 6 males who use tutoring.
1 and 1.
So
One
I
and
know
6
they're
ones?
males, so I do 6 ones. Then I said they use tutoring, so that's also ones.
Mm-hmm.
So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So that takes care of this box. Okay? So again, we have 1s if they're males, 2s if they're females. So my first box is 6 males use tutoring. So I need to do 6 pairs of scores. 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way down.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The next one we'll go to is males did not use tutoring. So they would be 1s. And then what would this part be?
2.
Did not use tutoring. So that's a what?
A
2.
2. So I need 14 1, 2s. So I go all the way down to 14 of them to here.
Oh, so 14 more ones.
So you have 14 more 1s and then 14 2s. So that totals out to 20. Next, you're going to go to females. We have 12 females who use tutoring. So these are what? 2 what?
12.
No, 2. So 2 1s. Yep. So we have 12 of those. 12 2 1s. 12 2 1s. 1, 2, 3, all the way down. Do that 12 times. And I can do those.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, females do not use tutoring. So 2 2s. 8 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I just need to give every one of my numbers an assignment. So you have a total sample of 40. Is everyone in?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now, once you have your data entered, to do a chi-square, okay, a chi-square for these 2, I'm going to go to Analyze, Descriptives, Crosstabs. Tabs, I'm going to pick the first one to be my rows,
Gender.
and then my tutoring to be my columns. It doesn't really matter, so you can do either one. I enter 1 into my rows, 1 into my columns, click Statistics. There's my chi-square.
Mm-hmm.
Gender and tutoring.
Continue. Click OK. Here's my output. For this one, you do not have to give me your means and standard deviations because there are none. Okay? But you could tell me how, all you're going to report to me is your chi-square. So under the TR, this is your X. It's not, so you just need to put that and you report that is 3.636. And my significance value, 0.57. So is that greater than 0.
Yes.
Yes, it is. You retain.
So I
Retain.
retain the null. And then you're done.
Is that the chart you want us to?
Yep, this
paste?
chart right here, you paste it.